the candle out. So my mudra for today is the Shakti Mudra. It is about this potential energy of awakening our inner self, our most divine, highest consciousness of ourself. So what you do is you tuck your thumbs into your hand, wrap your index finger and your middle finger, but then the ring fingertips, they're going to touch each other, and the pinky finger. You can just let that rest in your lap. You can hold it up if it makes you feel more energized. But really what that's all about is harnessing this energy, rooting ourselves down to the earth, and harnessing the inner energy to finding out who we are, who you are. And so that's what yoga is really, really all about. It's not about following me or, keeping up with the group. It's about doing what feels best for your body. So with that being said, if sitting like this does not feel good for you, don't feel like you need to sit like this. You can sit however you want to. Some people sit with their legs straight out. Some people will sit with one leg crossed in. Some people do like a deer pose is what that's called. So you choose what's best for you. Let's try to relax our shoulders. We'll take our first couple moments here to maybe close the eyes or lower your gaze down to a spot on the floor so that you can just kind of stare at one spot. And let's start to breathe. That conscious breath is the best way for us to bring ourselves to this moment right here, right now, in your body, in your breath. Now this mudra is meant to bring awareness into our pelvis, where we're sitting on the floor, the groundedness of our body, the heaviness of where we stand, where we sit. So feel as you exhale, maybe some energy kind of dropping into your lower body, allowing yourself to feel that groundedness. And the purpose of that is so that you can stand firm in who you are. As a reminder, I'm simply your guide today. So if something that I offer does not feel good for your body, don't feel like you need to push yourself to keep going. Feel free to release postures early or hold them longer. May this practice allow us to explore our body as a vehicle for truth and wisdom. May we stay present to the sensations of our body and our reactions to those sensations. May we be granted the insight to perceive ourselves more clearly, without judgment, without disappointment, without shame. Let this practice release the tension of our bodies effectively, unleashing any repressed emotions that are blocking us from our truest nature and most divine self. We ask for protection, patience, clarity as we practice today. Surrender our will and trust fully in the guidance of yourself. This practice will be blessed. Let's release the mudra if you haven't already. Maybe wiggle out your fingers, change your seat if you want to. Let's just do a couple big circles with our arms. So as you inhale, kind of scoop the air up. And as you exhale, let those arms reach back behind you like big wings. And then we'll inhale and scoop it up. Move slow with your breath, exhaling down so that those movements are on purpose. Remember, you don't need to match me. You can move with your own breath. So closing your eyes will be helpful for that. I'm going to do one more out in front, inhaling to scoop up and exhaling to relax down. Now I'm going to try to go backwards. Inhaling up and exhaling to float down, and then scooping, kind of sweeping around the body, inhaling up, exhaling towards my lap and sweeping around my legs. One more time. Nice work. Now feel free to sit again however you're most comfortable. I just kind of switch my legs, and then we're going to ground our hands but really close to our body. So we want our right hand to really be like next to our side here. We'll reach our left hand up. Now remember, you have to go where your body allows you to. So if this hurts your shoulder, it might be more like out here. And then we're going to bend our right elbow. Bend it back, and that's going to lower the shoulder and allow you to feel the stretch on that left side through your ribs, We're only going as far as we need to go to feel a stretch. Try to breathe, listening to that inner sensation of your body. And then inhale, press through the right hand to come back up. We'll try it on the left side too. Remember, you can always hold these things longer. I bend my my left elbow back and reach up with the right hand. Feeling that stretch through the right side, through the waist, through the ribs. When you are ready to return to center, inhale and push through your left hand. You can do it that same way if you'd like to. I'm gonna kind of just reach my hand out one handprint and do it the same way. So I'm bending into my right elbow, reaching with my left, staying connected and rooted through my left sit bone. Breathing deep. Trying to relax that tension in my body. And then I'll press back up to center whenever you're ready. Trying it again on the left side. Nice, that way you feel the stretch on that right side. Looking good, everyone. If it feels good, it's right. If it doesn't feel good, you might need to back up. Once again, whenever you're ready, we can switch sides. I'm gonna go really big for this last one, so I'm gonna slide my hand out, but for the big one, you're gonna have to use your core strength to pull yourself back up. So as the left arm reaches over, the right shoulder needs to relax. I'm gonna add some scrubbing this time. Inhale to open the chest, squeeze those shoulder blades back. Exhale, round your spine, reach the hand over. We'll just do that a couple times, as many as you like, about 3 to 5. Nice work, everyone. And remember, if you need to hold a stretch and really let it lengthen, then feel free to hold those positions a little longer. Feeling free to return back to center, back to neutral whenever you would like to. So I have to utilize my core, pull myself back to center, and that can sometimes aggravate the lower back. And let's do one more time to the left and see how this side's feeling. So my left hand's gonna slide really far out. I stay connected here in the right side, then I'll reach over. See this tension in my left shoulder as it's popping forward, so I wanna try to relax that down. And then we'll breathe, and you can move with that breath if you want to, opening the chest, closing the chest and rounding through the ribs. Nice work. Couple more times, just finding your breath, finding that movement, and perhaps finding the tension where you're holding it today. And when you need to return back to center, don't hesitate. You don't need to wait for me or us. You can find that way when you need to. Come on back up. When that time comes, let's extend the legs out. They might be getting a little tired for those of you who've been holding them as long as I have. We want to separate the feet here, relax the feet, but don't let them drop out to the side. Try to keep the knees and the toes kind of lifted up to the ceiling. What that does is it targets the back of the hamstrings rather than the inner or outer thigh. So we'll take a big inhale, reach up to the ceiling, Dandasana, that's staff position, and then we'll start to fold over. Nice work. So if you're maintaining a tall spine here, then you more or less will be leaning at the hips. More of us are rounding through the back, and that's okay. They're similar, but they are different positions. So let's play with that a little bit. You can grab on to your feet or your knees or your shins or wherever. Use a strap if you have it. Inhale and sit up really tall, lift up through your crown. You can really feel your hamstrings then. And then we'll round over, try to touch our head to our knees. Mine won't reach. I don't know if it ever will. And you feel it through your back, maybe a little bit more. Hamstrings too. So do you have a preference? That's kind of an inner pondering that you can think about there. Does one feel better than the other? And perhaps it's the one that doesn't feel as nice that we may need more. Great job, everyone. After about 4 or 5 breaths, I can feel my feet starting to get a little tingly. So we don't want to, cut off any circulation or innervation of the nerves at any point. So if you feel tingles, that's your body telling you to release that posture. So join me rolling up whenever you're ready to. All we're going to do is take our right leg and slide it out to the side. If you want to, your left leg can stay straight. I'm going to bend my knee out to the side so that I've got a little karate kick going on here. I can feel my inner thigh stretching. If you would like, you can lean forward into this, but again, remember to stay grounded, stay rooted through your pelvis throughout the whole practice today. Always, really. But that's kind of our theme today, is staying grounded, staying rooted, especially in who we are, who you are, and what it is that your body needs today. Some options for this pose would be rocking the torso from left to right, or doing a cat and a cow position through the spine, or just holding still and letting those muscles stretch while you breathe. Let's give it 1 or 2 more breaths, really sending that oxygen to that right inner thigh where you're feeling that deep stretch. And if it's not in the thigh, wherever that stretch is. Great job. We'll add the side bend here. So walk your hands down to your right leg. So you'll be kind of sweeping your torso over to the right. I have my right hand that's going to rest on my knee or my shin or wherever you can grab on. Let's sweep the left hand across the chest so that it's kind of reaching across the face, and you can feel that stretch through your waist, perhaps. That's where I feel it. And then as soon as I start to open my left arm up and look up at the ceiling, I really start to feel it through my ribs and my right inner thigh. Relax the right shoulder. Nice. Breathe. Stay longer if you'd like. When your body says it's time to come up, you can join me here. We'll come on back to center, and then we'll just kind of karate kick our legs the opposite direction. Yeah. So the left leg will slide out to the side, the right knee might bend, or you can bring your right leg straight back to center. It's your choice. So we'll sit up tall, keep grounded through the sits bones, and lean forward towards your right foot. That left inner thigh should start to lengthen and stretch. And remember, if it's really intense, you can move your torso a little bit in and out of the positions. Or you can just stay still and breathe and let those muscles stretch out. Nice work. 1 or 2 more breaths, really soothing that inner left thigh with that breath. One of my teachers says, pretend like your breath is a balm and massage it over top of that lengthening muscle. When you're ready to switch, start to walk your hands over towards that left leg, that lengthened left leg. My left hand is reaching down to my shin. The right hand is going to reach across my chest. This side is a lot tighter for me, so I can really feel it down here in my waist right now. When you're ready to, if you want to, you can open up the chest, lifting up and starting to look up under your right armpit. Try to relax your left shoulder while you're there. Take some breath. And when the time comes, bring yourself back up to center. Nice job. We'll bring the feet to meet in the middle, Baddha or butterfly legs. It doesn't matter how high your knees are, so if they're up here, it's okay. It's just the way we're made, so don't worry about it. Sit up nice and tall if you can. And then just start to lean forward. I only go about an inch, inch and a half, and I start to feel that stretch. Remember, there's more than one way. So if it feels better for you to round in your back, you can do it that way too. I just feel kind of like an optimum stretch when I keep my spine straight. So again, there's just always more than one way to do all of these positions, and we have to find the way that works for our own body. A reminder of a couple deep breaths, staying rooted through the lower body. Great job. You don't have to stay here if your body doesn't like this. So feel free to roll up, feel free to stay longer. I'm going to stay for about 2 more deep breaths. Smell the candle and blow the candle out. We'll start to roll back up whenever that time comes. Stay longer if you need, my friends. And then switch your legs to however you're the most comfortable. So I'm a crisscrosser. You might be a straight legger. Maybe you need to sit up in a chair. We got them all around us. So your choice. We're going to move up kind of into the upper body here because we just did a lot of lower body. So let's add just a gentle twist here to begin. We'll take our right hand to the outer left thigh or left knee or to the floor, whatever you like. Left hand will sweep back behind us. Sit up nice and tall through the head, through the heart. Relax the shoulders down, and then add a little tension. Push into your left thigh with your right hand. Pull yourself around a little bit, but we don't want yoga. We don't want asana or the positions of yoga to hurt. Keep breathing while you're twisting. It's really good for your organs to twist and breathe. Nice work, everybody. We're going to stay in this kind of twisted position, but you want to kind of bring yourself back up to sitting tall so that you can reach your left hand out and up to the sky. You're going to have to lean over to the right. So if your legs are straight, you will have to bend your right elbow so that it kind of comes down to your right thigh, and then you'll be able to feel the waist stretch. If your legs are crisscrossed, you should be able to do this with a straight arm, just leaning out against your arm. So that right arm is holding on, left arm is reaching. Whenever you're ready to, come on back to center here. You're going to hear me say that a lot. It's always up to you. The left arm comes over top the right. Crisscrossing the arms. Flip those hands up together like this. This is called eagle arms. If you can get the backs of the hands together, that's awesome, or even the wrap around is great. It's your choice. And then just move around a little bit. See what you can find. I have to remember to relax my shoulders. Reach to the ceiling with my crown. And that's really where I feel the best stretch. And I feel it on the top of my left shoulder blade. You might feel it on the right also. Let's get into the neck a little. Lean your head from side to side. Do a couple little half circles. And let's unwind those arms. Give them a break. Open the chest this time. Do the opposite. Bring your hands back behind you. Open up your chest. More than one breath. Nice job. You can bring it back to center. So straight leggers, you're going to do a forward fold. Those of us with crisscross legs, you're going to bring your hands in front. Maybe start to walk your hands forward there a little bit. They're 2 different stretches. So again, you've got options and choices to make here. More than one breath. Great job. Let's do the other side too here. So let's bring our hands back up, kind of sliding up your straight legs or walking your hands back up the mat. If you're in a crisscross position, I'm going to challenge you to switch it to maybe your not so comfortable leg. If you're straight leg, stay there so that it all stays balanced. So this time, left hand to right thigh. Right hand to the back of the mat, sitting up as tall as you can, up through your head, up through your heart, shoulders relax down, and then add the tension. Pressing on the outer right thigh with your left hand, pulling yourself around gently. Remember, stretches should not hurt. Another breath while you're here. Nice work. And then we'll unwind. Hang on to your right thigh with your left hand, your right knee, perhaps. Crisscrossers, you're going to lean over with a straight left arm. The right hand will reach up and over. If you have straight legs, you may need to bend your left elbow and then lean over into that left side to feel that waist stretch. So we've got choices to make. Switch to eagle arms whenever you're ready with the right arm on top, left arm underneath this time. So I've got right arm on top. We kind of just flip the elbows into each other. That's the next pose. You don't have to follow me directly, just letting you know what comes next. Eagle arms is the full twist around, and then perhaps relaxing the shoulders, lifting through the head, tilting the head a couple times from side to side. This time I feel that on the top of my right shoulder blade, but you might feel it on both. Stay longer, release when you need to. And do the opposite. So the opposite is opening the chest. Hands might come back to the mat or the floor behind you. Lift up through your belly, lift up through your chest and your heart. And then again, we're going to do the opposite. So the next position is sweeping forward. So either for your knees, your shins, your toes, or crisscrossers can walk their hands forward to the top of the mat. While you're here, let your chin drop to your chest. And even if your eyes are closed, lift up and look out towards your hands, towards your feet, wherever your hands are reaching. And then we'll do that again, just rounding the back, chin to chest. Inhale to look forward towards your hands. Nice. And we'll walk the hands or slide the hands back up towards your body. Great job. All right, so comfy position in your legs. Switch it up if you need to. We'll ground those fingers off to the sides once again, or on the mat is okay too. And we're just going to lean our head towards the right. Test it out. How's it feel over there on the left side today? Draw your chin towards your right shoulder. Yeah. And then with your head leaning to the right, lift your nose, your chin out towards the ceiling. So it's just little rotations with your head leaning out to the right. Nice. Chin to chest whenever you want to switch directions. So I just come back down to like a center neutral and then lean my head out towards the left and check it out on the right side, how that side's feeling today. Let it stretch. If it's feeling okay, you can test out other kind of angles, other directions by reaching maybe your chin to your left shoulder, chin towards the ceiling. Nice work, everyone. As many rotations as you need. Perhaps it feels better to just find a spot and let it stretch. When you're ready to release or switch, chin to chest. We'll bring our head back up to neutral. And I have another way to show you to stretch. It's kind of a different way. So we'll bring our hands out and back behind us, but they're going to do this, but behind our back. Yeah, so just interlace your fingers behind your back. Let's bring our fists into the right waist. It's okay if they don't reach. It might be more like your low back, but you want your right elbow pointing out there to the right. That's also the direction our head is going to lean. Oh, can't even go that far. It's pretty intense, right on the side, underneath my ear. You can feel that on the top of the shoulder. And again, you can try those other directions. This is an assist. So we've learned other assists. Other ones that we've learned would be like right hand to the left shoulder, right hand to the left ear. So if one of those suits you better, feel free to go to that. When you're ready to switch directions, chin to chest, switch the hands over to the left waist or low back, and then roll your head to the left, the same direction that the elbow is pointing. And then you can kind of compare. Does that side feel tighter, looser, or different? Nice work, everyone. Your choice how long you hold these stretches. Whenever the time comes and you'd like to release your head to center, you can release your hands and just do a couple shoulder rolls. can hear all your crunchies. You can hear my crunchies. Your neighbor's crunchies. All right. So we've been doing a lot of sitting. Let's start moving a little bit more here. So let's shift to hands and knees. I just swing my legs over into like a pinwheel and then hoist myself up, rearrange my blanket. If you need some cushion, let me know. I've got some extra knee pads, so you could use my blanket if you need, just let me know. And then we'll bring our palms down onto the mat here. And we'll just do a couple of our cats and cows like we normally do. This is just a really nice way to warm up the spine a little bit more and get the whole body involved in these movements. So notice with your cow pose that you're reaching forward with your heart, reaching up with your head and up with your tailbone. And then with that cat pose, the head is reaching down and the tailbone's reaching down. The heart comes up into your body. So move at your own pace here. The cool thing about stretching is that if it feels like you could use one direction longer, like I'm going to do it with cow pose, I'm going to just hold it for 2 full breaths without moving. So it's your choice. You can move with your breath, or you can hold positions that feel like they need to be stretched in your body. It's okay if we're not all matching. Great work. Let's take half the weight off of our hands. So we'll put the weight into the left hand for now. The right hand will reach ahead. If by your face is a little bit too high, feel free to keep your right hand just hovering off the floor. Let's do the opposite leg. So these are known as like bird dogs in the PT world, or I call them extended tabletop. So the left foot will reach back. Maybe your left foot rises up into the air. That's going to utilize the glute and the hamstring, the core, the shoulder. One more breath, and we'll bring it down. Now, left hand, you can slide it forward, it can hover, or you can reach it next to your face. Right leg, toes can stay connected, or you can lift your heel, which is going to use that hamstring and use that glute. Keep on breathing. We got 2 more breaths because we held the other side for some time because I was blabbing. We'll bring it down when you're ready. If you ever need a break, child's pose or puppy pose is a great place to come to. So if your wrists are bothering you, your shoulders, and they need a little bit of a break, don't hesitate to do that. I'm going to do 2 more rounds of that bird dog. Right hand, left leg. I'm staring down on my yoga mat at an imperfection, at a spot on my mat. Some of them have those little squares, so maybe just stare at a square. 1 more breath, bring it down. Other side, you can move faster or slower than me as well, so don't worry. I'm just holding these for 4 breaths. 4 breaths is some time. Good 20 seconds at least. Nice, smell the candle. Blow the candle out and let the arm and hand come down. Let's do 1 more round, but we'll add the crunches, some movement. So right arm, left leg, we reach it up. We don't want to fling it like that. We want to reach out with direction and then round the back and bring the arm and knee inward. Inhale, reach the right arm, left leg. Exhale, crunch. And inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Nice. I'm going to do 1 more. And then I'll bring the right hand down, relieve that left wrist and shoulder, left hand reaches out, right leg, inhale to reach, exhale with control, crunch, inhale, reach, exhale, crunch. You got it, couple more. Last one for me. I'm on a child's pose. You could puppy pose, you could crocodile pose. You can keep going, it's up to you. There's a lot of options. I want to take the weight off of my wrists for just a couple moments. The thing about growth is that it's usually caused by stress and discomfort. In your body, your bones, when they become weak and brittle, the thing that makes them stronger is stressing them. Pushing the bones into each other makes them stronger. When we stress our muscles, we're working out, we were ripping those muscles gently, and then they heal and they're really sore, but then you're stronger. So that discomfort you might feel in your knees and in your wrists, just know we're going to get stronger from that. Inhale, roll yourself back up to center, tabletop, realign those knees. We'll do the right leg first. So we're getting ready to do some moon salutations. Tomorrow's a full moon, my friends. So let's take our right leg, we'll kick it back out there, and we're gonna try to just step it forward. I say between the hands, but you get as close as you can. You might need to help it up there. I know I make that look really easy, but I happen to practice a lot of yoga. So the hands might be on the floor here. You might come up. Eventually we're gonna rise up from the floor. And you might notice that as your hands come to your right knee, you feel that stretch in your left thigh. If you send your right knee forward more, deeper into that lunge, you're gonna feel even more. I love all the different variations. We have lots of people reaching up to the sky, which is the full crescent moon. So you can see if I arc back, the crescent moon is from my hand to my hip and knee. So it makes that crescent moon shape. We'll start to fold back forward. Let's twist it. So left hand to the floor, right hand reaches out to the right. Past your right knee. So it's still my right knee and right foot forward too. Nice work. If you can open that chest up, that's great. If you have something going on in those shoulders that don't let you, then honor that. Go ahead and roll back forward. We're gonna go into a half split today. I know that sounds scary, but all you do is walk your hands back. I actually come up like this with my torso. I kick my right foot out so that my right leg is straight and my toes are lifted. And then I start to fold over top that right leg. I don't want to sit to the floor. It's more about bringing my chest towards my right thigh. And it's a big hamstring stretch. It's a really big one. So remember to keep on breathing. Now the root of our body is the right heel, left knee and shin, and always the tailbone drawing you down to anchor into the earth. Nice work. Let's surf it out a couple times. So that means as you roll forward, perhaps you inhale into a deeper lunge, and then maybe you roll back with the exhale. Maybe you need to stretch a little more in each of these positions, so holding it longer is totally fine. Now remember, for some of us, these are not normal movements. So if it feels really awkward and really strange for your body, just know the more that you practice, the more normal these positions will become. Whenever you want to switch, start to roll back forward to the lunge, bring the right hand to the inside of the right leg, and then beautifully take your right leg back to tabletop position. Maybe take a little child's pose. I can feel a big, big difference between the sides of my pelvis when I'm here. I kind of feel like my body, my torso is flattening into my right thigh, and my left one is like, what about me? So let's make it a little bit more balanced here. Let's roll ourselves back up to our tabletop and balance this out. Left leg, we'll reach it back behind us, and then we'll swing that left leg forward. However you can get it forward is good. And we'll bring our left hand to the outside to set up. And then eventually perhaps you reach or lift, I should say, onto the left thigh. That's going to just bring more stretch into your right thigh. That side's tighter for me. So just noticing that inequality, perhaps that imbalance in your own body. You can reach the hands up if you like. If you did that on the other side, try it on this side too. We're just stretching out right here in that right thigh. You might be feeling some burning going on in this thigh. That means strength. Strength is good, and burning makes strength. Whenever you're ready to move into the oppositional position, bring your hands down, Lift that left toe. Perhaps you need to kind of kick that leg out a little bit to get into the right position. So now we're in a half split. Try to lean your heart towards your left knee. Nice. It's a big stretch, so be careful with hyperextension on the back of that left knee. We don't want to overdo it, so remember to keep your knee slightly softened, not locked. You can certainly move forward and backwards, surfing in and out of lunge and half split whenever you like. Remember, it's not always so smooth. Sometimes it feels a little awkward when we first start all of these positions. Great job. Remember to hang out in any one of them that you need to. So if one feels really good, maybe you hang out there longer. Maybe you spend more time in the one that doesn't feel really good. So that eventually maybe it does feel good. And again, when you want to shift back to hands and knees, tabletop, do that by swinging your left hand into the inside of your left leg in the lunge. I'm going to add the twist. We did that on the other side too, so I always like to do the same thing. So I'm coming back to this lunge. My right hand is on the floor, left hand to the sky. But remember, we don't all have to match. So if you're like, my body doesn't want to do this anymore, then take a break. Nice work. From here, I will rotate my left hand back down towards the mat and swing that left leg back around, and we'll take that break that we deserve in a child's pose. Puppy pose is another really great option, and that's with your hips lifted and your heart and head melted. And if your knees are a little tired and they don't want to have that pressure on them anymore, then I've learned from my students that crocodile, like this, is a really good resting pose too. Wonderful work, everybody. We'll inhale to roll back to the tabletop. Bring the knees back to alignment. Tuck your toes under. We're moving into our first downward dog. So spread your fingers wide and start to press into them. Press into your toes, lifting your knees. Keep your knees slightly soft. We have to stay away from that hyperextension of those knees especially, but shoulders and elbows are important too. Look towards your hands and start to walk forward. Walk your hands back towards your feet. It doesn't have to look that pretty. It's okay. We're just getting to where we're going. Bend your knees, because bent knees protects your lower back, your lumbar spine. And so when we bend our knees, we can sweep the arms out and unhinge, I should say, safely. Reaching up to the sky when you reach standing, grab onto that good energy and bring it right down into your heart. So I literally imagine that I'm grabbing onto good energy from the heavens, from the universe, and pulling it down into my field. Ground yourself. Remember back to the beginning when we were working on rooting through our pelvis. Now it's our feet. But that tailbone still pointed down towards the floor. Shoulders back, heart and head lifting. A deep breath. And we'll do a sun salutation. We'll get to our second downward dog after the whole like chaturanga upward dog. We'll get to downward dog, and then we'll start the moon salutation on the right side. So inhale right here. Exhale, hands down to your sides, Tadasana. Inhale, reach up for that good energy. Grab onto it, shower over yourself, bend your knees and start to forward fold. So I bend my knees to protect that hinge. I separate my feet a little wider. This is where a block would come in handy. So if you're not quite at the floor, you can just hover or if you have a block, you can build up something on the floor to reach for. Let's stretch a little bit here, straighten the right leg, bend the left knee. Now we'll rebend the right, so both knees are bent, and then straighten up the left. And then rebend. Couple more back and forth here, just stretching, lengthening one leg at a time. You don't have to stay there. You can just continuously move if you like. We'll do one more on each side. Nice job. Rebend that left knee, so both knees are bent. We'll lift our hands to the shins, knees, or thighs to lengthen the spine straight out. Looking good. Keep looking down at the floor, but feel like your neck is lengthening. Reach the very top of your head out towards the front of the room. Pull that belly button in towards the spine, reach back through the tailbone. There's a lot going on. One more breath, let's bend through the knees, bring our fingertips to the mat, and we'll step the feet back. I did the right foot, and then I dropped to my palms, step the left foot, I'm in downward dog. Rearrange the feet if need be. I like to make sure that my feet are separated here so that like my big toes aren't touching, and that means that my feet are hip distance apart. Bend those knees if need be, perhaps pedaling those heels out. It's a lot of pressure on your hands, it really is. But remember, those wrist bones are going to get stronger. Look towards your hands. Now, go ahead and move in that direction. You might have to squeegee your feet back or move your hands around into a plank position. Let's try to hold it. Remember, plank can be on your knees. I'm going to keep my knees lifted today. One more breath. Now I'll bend to my knees, bend my elbows, and lower to the floor, thighs, belly, chest. Nice. I unhook my toes, drop the tops of my feet onto the mat, and then I'm going to start to peel my chest up. Sphinx is an option. Cobra is an option. I'm not warmed up enough to do upward dog, so I'm not going to show it right now. I'll lower back down. And then I'm going to find my way back to downward dog. So find your way. I lift up to hands and knees first, rearrange into tabletop, spread those fingers, tuck my toes, and then roll up. That's a lot. You can just roll right up if that feels comfortable for you. So this is that second downward dog. Right leg, let's reach it up to the sky. High as you can. Now the hard part, let's step our right foot through underneath us. Your left leg can stay high like this, or if you want to do what we did before, drop your left knee onto the blanket or the mat. I'm going to keep my left knee high this time. Both hands walk up to the top of my right knee. So now I'm starting to have to use my balance, use that core strength, use that glute on the right side, and if you would like to lift, you're really going to use that glute. You're going to feel it engage as you lift up. Nice work. It can look like this too. Same but different. All right, big breath. Folding back forward. We're adding the twist here. So it's going to be left hand into the mat. Right hand reaches out past the right leg up towards the sky maybe. Bend into that right knee. Make sure it stays, a shelf in a way. Go ahead and rotate back down. Nice job. Now for me, my right leg cannot go straight right here. I'm too tight. So I'm going to step my back left foot in about a foot. I want my feet to be on separate lanes while I'm here, so we don't want to be on a tightrope. Then I can start to lengthen my right leg. It's called pyramid pose. Nice work, pyramids. All right, from here, let's start to bring our hands onto the right shin. Walk your hands all the way up. So now we're going to be in this kind of pyramid standing position with our right foot forward and our left foot behind. Let's bring our arms out to the side, and we're twisting left hand forward, right hand back. Nice job. From here, we're going to slide that left hand forward towards me. Drop it down to your right shin. Twisty pyramids. Good job, twisty pyramids. Lower that right hand back down. Nice job. Let's step the left foot back, bend the right knee. Step the right foot back all the way, downward facing dog. Nice work. It's hard. New stuff. Challenging our nervous system, challenging our body, challenging that balance. Let's do it on the left side. Reach that left leg as high up there as you can. Reach it, reach it. And then try to step your left foot, just your left foot forward between your hands maybe. Nice. You can drop your right knee to the mat or you can keep it lifted. That is your choice. If you kept it lifted on the other side, do it on this side too. Walk your hands up, perhaps to the top of your left knee. You're gonna feel that glute engage, that thigh, it's burning. Burning means building. Building strength, burning fat, it's good stuff. Then a stretch here on the right thigh. You can lift your hands, that's gonna utilize the core and that pelvis, that glute even more. Soften through the left knee. Oh, that's even harder. Mine is shaking too. It's okay. We can do anything for a couple breaths. Go ahead and fold forward towards your foot. This time it's right hand into the mat or into a block. Sometimes it's just your fingertips. And then the left hand is gonna reach out past your left knee and up towards the sky. Nice work. Inhale and exhale. Go ahead and fold back down. This is where we're moving into pyramid legs. So my left leg does not want to straighten here. So I have to step my right foot in about a foot. Then my legs will be okay with lengthening a bit more. Nice work. So we're in pyramid pose right now. You can feel, especially your left leg stretching, but the right one might be too. Walk your hands up to your left shin. Keep walking up that straight left leg so that we are coming upright with pyramid legs. We're setting up for a revolved pyramid. So what we're going to do is sweep our arms out with pyramid legs. The right hand reaches forward, the left hand rotates back. So now we're twisting here at the core. And then we're going to shove that right hand forward, hips kind of reach out back, and I'm tilting into that. I'm getting a little off balance too. It's okay if you're like, whoa, my feet, my ankles are moving a lot. Those are stabilizing muscles. They're getting stronger. Nice work. So we're twisting our pyramid. When you're ready, left hand comes back down towards the floor. Bend your left knee, slide your right foot back. Drop to your palm, step your left foot back, downward dog. You did it. Good job. Pedal it out. Let's relax. Child's pose, puppy pose, crocodile pose. Some of you are like, well, downward dog is my relaxing pose. So you're welcome to stay there if you'd like to also. But let's give maybe the legs a little break, the wrists just a little break to notice all that pressure that you created, that stress in your muscles and in your bones. It makes us stronger. And then the other half of that, of getting stronger and growth, is that if it doesn't work, we tried. We know what works better for us now. Inhale back to tabletop position. Slide those knees back together. We'll do one more downward dog for the day here. Tuck those toes. Lift up off the knees. Look back at your toes. Pedal it out a couple times. Nice. Let's reach each leg one more time. The right leg, we'll reach it up to the sky. It's like a downward dog split. Bend your right knee, just let your right foot be heavy so that you feel that on the right thigh, the knee. Lengthen it back up, drop the toes. We'll do that on the left side too, so our left foot will reach up to the sky. Bend the knee, open up that thigh, open up that hip. Lengthen it back up. Drop it down and start to walk forward. It could be one giant step, it could be 10 baby steps. You can hop forward. You can walk your hands back to your feet. We end up in a forward fold. We want our feet to be somewhat separated here. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale back to the forward fold. Hang longer if you need to, just dangle. If you're ready to release that, sweep your arms out. I'll meet you at standing. No rush though. Hands at heart center. To close up our sun moon salutations, we kind of combined them today. Great job. Let's rest for a couple minutes here. I didn't leave long for Shavasana because I know it's not all of our favorites, but of course you're welcome to stay as long as you need. I'm going to move my blanket to the top of my mat and it's going to be my pillow now. If you're a headstand person, this is a good time to do a headstand. I'm gonna make my way back down to the mat. I go through downward dog and then I drop one knee to the mat on the opposite side and swivel around. That way I can lay onto my mat, my head gently on the pillow or the blanket, or maybe just on the floor and pull my knees to my chest. It's a reverse child's pose. As we cool down, you may need to put socks and sweaters or use a blanket to stay warm. But again, for time's sake, we won't be here for too long. Those of you at home, of course, can stay in Shavasana as long as you like. You're welcome to give yourself that hug. Lots of options here laying, so if you'd like to start, keep moving, you can keep moving here. You don't have to stop. The intention of this time is to feel all of the work that we've done over this last hour. We've done a lot. To come back to the breath, back to intention. You have no responsibility except to be yourself to the fullest limit of yourself and to find out who you are, or should I say to remember who you are. Because deep down in the secret velvet of your heart, far beyond your name and address, you know who you really are. And that being who is true cannot help but behave graciously to all other beings because it is all other beings. Let's take 3 more of these conscious breaths, the deepest breaths that you've taken all day. Remember, you can stay here. You can just keep laying down. You can roll onto a side if that would suit you. You can roll up to a seat if that would feel best. There's lots of options. We just have to choose for ourselves. We give thanks for the air that we breathe and for our bodies, so capable and strong, and to all of life that sustains, nourishes, and nurtures. May we remain present in our body and mind and continue to grow, continue to learn and expand our consciousness so as to know our highest self. May we commit to observing our reactivity and breathe more fully and completely in times of conflict. May we stay grounded so that the choices we make in our life are influenced by mindfulness and compassion. May we see beyond reason, heal beyond belief, and love beyond barriers. May we surrender to this deep work, committing to the beauty of our awakening souls and celebrate the bond of breath that binds all of us, you and me and this planet as one. In yoga, we say the word namaste, and it means I bow to you. I see the light, the divinity inside of you, and I honor that light and know that it also exists inside of me, each living being. I bow to you. Namaste.